Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I am the badass Gudo, Lori Monaco, coming to you from the South, not the deep South, but the South on a beautiful spring day. It is currently 51 degrees, so it is already jumping into a great day. I think it's supposed to be in the mid to high 60s today, and it is sunny, and it was really nice yesterday as well, but it started off cold. But good morning. And happy Thursday. Welcome to episode 24, Love Affair. Good morning, Milagros and Kathy jumped on. Milagros, beat everybody. My sister Leanne is on. Good morning. And good morning, my partner in
Good,
crime.
good morning, good morning. Buenos días, Milagritos, Kathy Lee, and from España. That's so exciting. That's the most beautiful thing that rolls off my tongue. It's been so cold here. Day before yesterday was super windy and cold. Yesterday felt like those snowy cold days. So
Oh,
I'm hoping today's a little better. So I'm happy that your weather is fine. So, bring some of that. But like we say in all the other episodes, let's just live in our now and appreciate what we have. Buenos
yes.
días con mi tacita de café.
Good morning, Madeline. You know, it was, there was a point where it was actually warm here and then it got chilly again. And it was, a shocker because you get so used to it so quickly. But I've really gotten into the place where I'm just accepting the days as they are. I mean, what else can you do? And deciding what I want to do with myself and my day based on the weather. So it's been exceptionally nice outside. And granted, I hadn't been feeling well, but I've been taking advantage of that sun and that beautiful day and stepping outside and sitting outside for a little bit so that I can get some fresh air and some sun on my skin. But it's been really nice, and I'm loving it. I really am loving it. It's brisk in the morning, and then it feels good in the day. And it's been windy here, but it's always windy here. This apparently seems to be like a wind tunnel up in this particular area in which we live because there's always wind coming. It's really funny.
That right there is funny. That made me giggle.
Good morning,
A wind
Flavia.
tunnel.
Flavia is in the house. Good morning, my dear. All right. I see that. You know, I just want to make a quick announcement because we are doing her badass story 4. We were supposed to release it last year, but things got really too hectic for me with the move and all that stuff, and and the wedding, my daughter's wedding, and honestly, I came to a conclusion that it's best for me to just do one volume per year. And so this is volume 4, and it's going to be released in September. And the deadline to sign up is fast approaching. I might be able to extend it a little bit into April, but we do have plenty of time to have all the authors right and everything. And we do have several slots to still fill. So if you know anybody that's interested and that wants to share their story, just have them reach out to me. They can do it through social media or my email address, and I'll put all that stuff on there. Or actually, I might even go ahead and just put the link to where they can find out the information. And then if they think they want to make it a call with me and talk to me about it, then that would be great. So that's what I'll do is I'll put that link. And if you could just share it with people, that would be great because we've had such great outcomes with all the authors that have been on before, and it's been wonderful to share your story. And so we would like you to
Mm-hmm.
some other fabulous women out there to be a part of her badass story 4. So I'll put that link in a little bit.
That's awesome. I'm so happy you did that.
How is
And I think, yes,
your
I'm
studio
meeting.
coming along, my friend?
Oh, look at Flava says she's meeting with you to discuss that. That's welcome,
Yes.
Flava. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, no, yeah.
You're gonna love it.
Flavia was a student of mine, and she's an incredible woman. So I'm very happy to have her on board. Well, it's not finalized yet, but we're going to be talking. I think it's on Monday, Flavia. I saw, yeah, Monday. That's what made me think about it
Mm-hmm.
because I saw Flavia come on. I'm like, you know what? Let me give a quick announcement. Good morning, Desiree. How's your studio coming
Yes,
along, Black?
It's coming along. It's after we did a lot of good stuff, and then I decided to change the lighting, so we had to roll up the rug, make a couple trips to Home Depot to get it right. um
Okay.
Started piecing up my mural that's going up so that I can paste it today. So it always it's exciting. It really is, and it's coming along as it should, I guess. Because who plans what to go perfect, especially when you're relying on someone to come do electrical work. So I love the flow. I never complain of this or that. So it's coming up. It'll probably be done by the time my shelves come in and a couple things Iris ordered comes in. It'll probably be the end of the month. So this whole month was just the decorating, the painting, the figuring it out. And then, not to mention, we still got a bigger window to put in going forward. So we're not complaining. It is going to be what it is by the end of the month, and then we'll be open up for the creative business side because I'm a sell. That's it.
I can't wait to see between you and Iritza, like what you, because you guys are from very different artistic backgrounds, and but it's so interesting to have that energy in there, that artistic energy, which is
Hmm.
going to be nice.
Yes, it's like with anything with us women. Um, we got to create together. We got to come together, and I think that when we empower one another, it never leaves room for jealousy or to be intimidated by one another. We just flow with the gifts that we have actually nurtured to become productive and abundant. So I'm loving the whole um, collaborating because if anybody knows Iritza, my cousin, and me, we're like totally on opposite sides of the spectrum when it comes to movement, when it comes to how we process information. And I'm always like the road runner, and she hasn't decided which one she likes more, being a sloth, just chilling, hanging there, or being the turtle. And so it teaches me patience and it teaches her endurance, I guess, at the same time to excel at what it is she's doing and do it more in a I gotta get this shit done type of mentality. So it's interesting, but we go back and forth.
Well, you never
The
know until you
dynamics.
try.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. The dynamics. Listen, we spoke about a spring fling on Tuesday, and today's the love affair. And I think when you come to understand who you are and love who you are, and know what you love, what you like, and what you tried, it's not for me. That's a complete woman. Because then when you see someone else working on
I
something that
agree.
you tried it but you didn't like it, or you didn't try it because you were afraid, it's all a lesson. Like, why is that woman in my life now? Why was this my cousin for 50 years and I'm just figuring her out, or I'm just noticing her? Because now is the time for you to either learn what you didn't learn back when you thought you should have, or introduce you to something that you glanced at occasionally throughout your life but you never dared to touch. There's no coincidences, there's no mistakes. I think when you fully uh, engage in a love affair with yourself, right? Because a spring affair always feels good, gives you all that tingling all over, like woo, like you're doing something you shouldn't because it's like woo. And now you're in the full throttle of the love affair and you accept yourself. And when you accept yourself, you're so accepting of everyone else around you, even though they might aggravate the shit out of you. Because Iris aggravates the shit out of me. I don't know why I don't even know why she's not on now. But you love them and you honor them for the women that they are. Don't lie to yourself and say, "Oh no, she don't bother me no more. I got used to her." No, it's bullshit. Because when you are one way and someone is another way, you honor them, you love them, you accept them. Like, oh, you know her, like she's the dog's tail for me on the camino. She's always behind. But the moments that she does aggravate, like, come on, Iris, you should have done this. But you really didn't. But then it's okay. It's like a sibling. You argue, you fuss, you fight, but You love them regardless. And that's how we don't have to be siblings to honor, love, and accept one another. And to, for being the person that we are. We are not for everybody. Remember, I said this years ago on the show. I am not everybody's cup of tea, but I drink coffee, so fuck them. But the thing is that there's some people that you're gonna love, that you're gonna honor, that you're gonna accept, that is going to be sewn into the tapestry of your soul. And those are the ones that probably irk you more than anyone else. But hey, here we are creating a studio together. Param-pam.
Oh my gosh. Well, the thing is sometimes it's the least expected. It's like if you had if we could have looked into the future and somebody said 2 years ago, oh, by the way, Gladiator Guru, you're going to be up in Connecticut and you and Edith are going to be sharing a studio, you would have been like, what? And it's just like, even with my sister, we hadn't lived together since I was 10 years old. And going in to decide we're going to move back in with each other, and then not to mention that I dragged my two of my three kids and my animals, that was a lot for her to take on. And the thing is that there's going to be bumps, there's going to be challenges, but when you are better at understanding yourself, you can navigate situations better. I feel, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I'm doing a much better job. I still have a lot of work to do. I still have my quirks and my moodiness, but um, I think it's just that space and grace, because it's still, I'm definitely happier now that I've moved down here. So I have definitely shifted energy, which is really, really important. And I think that when you allow yourself that rediscovery. So when we talked on Tuesday about the spring fling and springing into a new you, like blossoming just like the trees are, just like the flowers are, and it's just it's a new version of yourself. It's a refreshed version of yourself. And then where you're going to go from there, are you going to just stay in that one spot and grow every year in that one spot, or are you going to allow yourself to spread? That's
Mm-hmm.
that's the one thing I love about flowers. When you put wildflowers up, it's like you plant them in one location, but then all of a sudden they start to just pop out in different locations. And that's one of my favorite things about growing wildflowers, is that after a certain point, they just fill it in, like they fill in the area, and they make things look so beautiful. And then they provide this beautiful environment for bees and butterflies and all those cool critters that really need the flower to be there in the first place. So we're spring flinging, but now it's about the love affair. It's about, and I had posted it right at the top of the page. Good morning, Gail. It says, love affair, who you? It's all about you, baby. After the rediscovery of self comes the love affair with the woman who lives within. Know her, love her, fall in love with her. And when you do, things don't bother you nearly as much, because you're very clear on self, you're very clear on boundaries, you're very clear on what you want, what you don't want, what you'll tolerate, and what you're willing to compromise, what you're not willing to compromise. And you're not afraid to say it. You could be honest about it. It doesn't mean that it's not hard to, it's not going to be easy all the time, and it's not going to be easy to say things that are hard, but you're more courageous. And I'm thinking about Kathy. So I'm going to call Kathy out on this, Kathy Reese, because we've seen Kathy go from, she disappeared for a little bit because she was just dealing with a lot of stuff, and then she came out, and all you see are really just happy posts from Kathy. They show her husband. She's just enjoying life. And whatever shift needed to happen for her happened. And she's spreading the joy. So she's sharing pictures like that, and she's letting people know, she's expressing herself. She's saying it in the comment section a lot of times too when we're on here. And that's the importance is the expression misery loves company. Well, it's true. When you're miserable, you want everybody around you to be as miserable, and you attract miserable people. But you know what? Happy people love company too. Joyful people love company too. The thing is that happy and joyful people want to be around happy and joyful people. So if you're miserable and don't and say, quote, you don't want to be miserable anymore, unless your actions match what you're saying and your thoughts are, you will still attract the miserable people in your life. So you have to say, I no longer wish to be miserable. I want to be happy, joyful. You have to change your energy. And then you have to be
Mm-hmm.
around those happy and joyful people with no judgment, because miserable people love to judge happy and joyful people. And when they do, they continue to uh, em- um, emanate, no, emit that horrible energy. So be around joyful people, be joyful yourself, and spread the joy so that others can pick it up.
Absolutely. And that was beautiful, with just bringing up certain things about people. You know, sometimes we don't realize who we are until we hear somebody describe us, or we don't realize we naturally do. Some of us are such natural doers that it's just something you do, like breathing. And then when somebody's like, hey, I noticed you, blah, blah. And so I think that's beautiful. And you're like, what? No, like, and sometimes we need that. So when you see somebody doing something, like, I love when the badass Buddha shouts out people and brings up something about them, because, like Tiffany Bryan and all that, because what happens with that? You're being seen, you're being heard, you're noticed, you're living, you're living in your essence, and people are noticing. And that's beautiful. Your job, that's the one job you have, is to live and live out loud. And you're doing that because people are noticing. Good morning, Lynn Lowe. Um,
And the thing
Midaya.
is too, and the thing is too that you have to, once again, as Gladiator Guru always talks about, you can't lie to yourself. You can't say, "Oh, I'm a happy person," and then be miserable. I know because I lived it. That's what I kept saying to myself when I was living up north this last like 12 months. I'm a
Hmm.
happy person, but I really wasn't, and it wasn't aligning. And and the reason I was lying to I wasn't lying to myself. I was just lying with words, but I knew deep down that I wasn't happy and I was miserable, and it was showing in so many ways. And it was creating this push and pull, and it wasn't allowing me to move forward, because I would go forward, then I would take a step back, go forward, take a step back, because that's the way the energy worked. They're opposite sides. So I would push and get pulled, and so once you have to just admit to yourself, okay, I'm not happy, I am miserable, my life is not the way I want it. Boom. That is the most beautiful thing that you can do for yourself. That's honoring yourself. Now, what can I do about that? What can I do about that? Can I be around better people? Can I change, the crowds that I'm around? Be around healthier,
Hmm.
relationships. If I want a good relationship, I have to be around people that have healthier relationships. Then you start to change and shift that energy, and then it comes back to you. And I think that's where we lose it. And part of that is that love affair. Is, you got to love yourself where you are, not, well, once I get past this, once I lose the weight, once I'm in a better mood, I'm going to love myself. You have to love yourself where you are. Okay, I'm miserable, I love you. There's no reason to be miserable, but if you feel that you need to be in that space, I'm talking to myself, let's say, then be in that space, but I'm going to ask you why do you need to be here? Why do you feel you need to be here? Let's get moving, let's get our asses up and running, and let's not be here anymore. But I love you. And you have that love affair with self. And then when you do something joyful, I love that you're joyful today. I love that you're having a great time today. I love that you're enjoying life today. This is what we wanted. And you could refer to yourself as a we. There's nothing wrong with
No,
that.
I do it all the time when I'm comforting my full personalities. But let me tell you, everything she said is fact. And going back to the beginning, you know, when you are lying to yourself, you are lying. Sorry, badass. So it's not just words, you are lying, because you're the first voice you hear. You're the first voice that resonates with you, that you feel, that vibrates within you. So don't go around wanting to vibe with people who are vibing at a high frequency, and you're bringing your negative Nelly ass there, because
Yeah.
guess what? You're such a powerful liar to yourself, well, maybe if I go here, it'll make me feel better. It's not my responsibility to make you feel better. So don't come into my circle with all that negative shit because you're lying to yourself saying, well, maybe if I go here, everything you need to function in this world, you already own. Come to me when you're healing. I'll even accept you in your healing phase and accept you into my aura. But I'm not gonna want you, and I'm telling you this with all honesty. I'm not gonna want you to accept you into my aura um, while you're lying that you're getting better, and then it's like that black ink that you put in a beautiful pond, a clear pond, and one drop of black ink just like dirties the whole thing. So when you're saying, I'm not there yet, I'm working on me, say it and mean it, because guess what happens? You work on you. And the thing is that when you lie to yourself and you bring that shit into other people, you're not looking to heal. You're looking to copy and steal how other people are living so you can use that as a facade to trick others into thinking you're better, and then you end up believing the lies. And for anybody who doesn't believe me, say so in the comments. When you are your true self, broken, open wounds, I'll accept you with open arms because you're acknowledging that you need assistance while you work and heal yourself. I can't heal you. No matter what it is that I do, I cannot heal you. But I can provide a safe space for you. I can comfort you with affirmations, but I cannot touch you. You have to heal. You got to do the work. And let me tell you, mi gente, when you're in a love affair with yourself, you realize this is like breathing. When you have lied to yourself so much, you don't even know who the hell you are.
Yeah.
You can't love yourself because you don't, there's so many pieces all over the place. So you lie and you live this lie of who you are. And I used to be like that, and I'm not like that no more. I'm strong. Why are you even saying you used to be like that? Because that's in the past. So you're bringing something up to fill in the empty spaces. You're ever in the car with somebody and the silence feels so good. You hear the hum of the engine and maybe the wind going by the closed window, but you still hear the wind. And then that other person is so uncomfortable, they turn the radio on. You're like, why you turn the radio on? Oh, man. When you're so uncomfortable in the silence, that's when you got to really start picking your ass up and start the healing process. Because the silence speaks volumes. And it is your own, in the silence is when you hear the truth about who you are. When you have that love affair, you don't got to fill the spaces in with words, especially empty words. And that's how it is when we're silent in our mind. When we have an empty mind, we get frightened. When we start to control our thoughts, we become frightened. Oh my God, we're empty. What am I supposed to do? We need all of that garbage to make us feel like, okay, we're on solid ground. When you have a love affair with yourself, you're accepting yourself exactly where you are in that moment. And I'm happy we're talking about this because yesterday I'm waiting on some sneakers. I bought some very expensive fucking sneakers. They better work. I looked at all the reviews. I listened to people. They're the on cloud or something like that. So I went on a limb and I bought the waterproof ones because I don't like buying sneakers. So if I'm gonna buy sneakers, I'm gonna be one that's gonna work with me here and when I go walk the camino that are waterproof. They haven't come in yet. My agenda for today is to go and buy all my fruits, my vegetables, and my lean meat. Because I'm at a point, Dios te bendiga, papi. I'm at a point where exactly what I'm talking to you is what I'm doing. Because I've gained weight. Now look, this dress used to fit me nice. It's so tight around my tits right now. Look at the little cuff right here. I'm not going to lie, because I'll be lying to myself if I pretend to be thin just from the waist up. So why? I don't know. That's an unraveling of the yarn ball that I'm doing right now in this process. So when I speak to you, I'm speaking to you from my soul because it is exactly what I'm going through. I got to heal me, and I can't put layers of clothes on, or I can't pretend it's not happening. I love my cheekbones. If you go back into my blog under construction, it's all about how I love all of me. And I do. I'm just not comfortable. And sometimes we are placed in situations of discomfort so that we can move our asses. So pay attention to yourself. Stop worrying about what everybody else is doing, how far people have gotten in their business, what they're owning, where they're moving to, where they're vacationing to. That's not your business. Because when you put so much attention on that, there's no love affair going on in your soul.
Take it off you completely.
So love yourself.
That's part of the reason why we do it. We've talked about that.
Love yourself where you're at. Love yourself in the brokenness of where you find yourself right now. Because remember, you're not broke. You were just taken apart to be rebuilt stronger. And if you keep that in your mind, then you're not really going to vibrate low in the situation you're at. For every beginning, there's an end for new beginnings, mi gente. And sometimes we, the universe, Father Yahweh, when you pray for change and He takes everything away, it's because you need to start fresh. Doesn't mean, oh my God, I lost everything. It means like, oh shit, I got to start anew. And if anybody knows me, my son-in-law's there, he can attest since he's met me. I've moved here, I've moved there, I've left here to come in and assist somebody all the way from West Bumblefuck to then go back, sort my life out for a couple months later to go back and do something else. But I never broke. Why? Because at the end of the day, I chose to make all those decisions. And when you lie to yourself and you say, well, if it wasn't for this person having me come over here and do this, and if this person wasn't pulling me over here, why'd you go? It's your fault. It was your choice. You moved your ass to wherever it is you were called to. Take that because you learned something angry and filled with nonsense that you didn't see why you were called there. Love yourself. Have that love affair with yourself. Take yourself out on a date. Go eat dinner by yourself. Go eat lunch by yourself. Take yourself out on a date. Have that love affair. And chew through the discomfort. Why, badass Buddha, tell me, why is it hard for people to go and eat by themselves?
Well, I don't know. And the thing is now we also have an excuse because not only can we not be by ourselves, but we have our phone to distract us. You really want the challenge, go by yourself and do not take your phone out. Sit there, look around, or bring a book, or draw something or write something, but stay off the phone, stay off of social media. Don't look at your emails. But I think part of it is just that we get in our own thoughts, we get in our own head, and then, or we think about what are people thinking if I'm by myself. But you know what the funny part is? Most people don't even give two shits because most people are so self-absorbed. They don't think anything about it. And even if they did, who cares? Oh, look at that poor sap sitting by themselves. Who the hell says that? Who the heck thinks that? Nobody. People just think, oh, that person, they don't think anything. I prefer it. I love going to dinner with one person. I like with a group, and I also like being by myself. I'm gonna here's a little challenge in the comments section. So we have a lot of people on today, which is really great. We thank you and thank you for sharing. Put something that you love about yourself. Share it with everybody here today, with the tribe. Put the one thing that you love about yourself. And if you want to put a couple, that's fine. You don't have to just put one, but just something that you love about yourself that you don't mind shouting out to people. And I'm also curious to see what the response back is, because a lot of the tribe members know each other now from being here so much. And I would guarantee that some of the things that you say that you love about yourself, the other tribe members would also have to agree with it. So what do you think, Gladiator Guru? What would you say that what do you love about yourself?
I love many things about myself. One is that I'm confident, I'm decisive, and I'm going to do me all day. Madeline, you're so beautiful. I'm caring and loving. That's what am I? I don't know. I think I would rather have people do that. I know when I love so hard, it can be the most beautiful, divine, or destructive. So I'm in between those D's. Oh, Lucy. Hi, Lucy. She's resilient. What about you?
What did you say?
Badass.
You put confidence. What was the other thing you said? Confidence,
Decisive.
decisive.
Hmm.
I'm putting it into the chat. Okay. Decisive. Okay.
Oh, Catherine, that's great. Look at, they're so great.
For me, I think I'm very, I can be very joyful, and it's getting better, like getting more and more each day, and very empathetic, like compassionate, but at the same time, um, I have some really good strong boundaries, which is something that I never had before, and I love having boundaries.
Oh, yeah. I built those fences a long time ago. I love boundaries. Um, Gail put something. Yes, Gail. I am ridiculously curious. I even wrote about it. And I love insignificant things. Yes, our Janice, you are. But that's awesome. To be empathetic, it's a challenge sometimes. I see Chanel wrote it too. When you're empathetic, I was often, because of my get up and get it done attitude, and then we'll cry later or we'll laugh later. Let's just get it done. My husband used to say that I was not empathetic, that I lacked empathy because I because when he would say, but you don't understand, I'm like, just cut the shit. Let's just do what we have to do. So and many people have accused me of not being empathetic. But when you have that love affair with yourself and you know who you are, you don't get offended. Sometimes it'll take you back, but you know who you are. And then I'm like, what do you mean? We got to get this done. Because if I become a mush while trying to take care of you who's paralyzed, what's going to happen with us? And then he got it. So I think all of them are awesome. What did Milagro say? I love everything about me, especially how strong when it's not. Absolutely. That's why I say I'm confident. You're both very courageous, consistent, and showing up for us and yourselves and excellent speakers. Oh, we got a compliment. That's beautiful. Thank you, Desiree.
Did Desiree put what she loves about herself, though?
I don't know. Everything's going by
Desiree,
so fast.
Desiree, because if you better have, I'm going to
Yes, I
look
can
quick.
put you.
But
Yes, I
so
don't see it.
Kathy says she likes her creativity. Let
Yes,
me,
I love that. I was just reading that, Kathy, because
let
yeah,
me see if
I'd be
Desiree put.
popping up like slut magic with the piece
Okay,
of
so
cardboard
Desiree
and paint.
did not. So Desiree, listen, we love the compliment. Thank you. But you are avoiding saying what you love about yourself by saying what you love about us. Okay, which is lovely. All right. But please put in there what you love. She's thinking, she said, okay, good. All right. So she's thinking about that because
Thank
that's an important thing. It's so easy a lot of times to say what you love about somebody else. But then when you're
you.
asked, what do you love about yourself? People like cringe. They're like, oh, I don't know. I guess I like this. How do you start your sentence off with I guess? What if this was you, the person that you're with, your significant other, or your child? Okay. Let's say when your children were little, what do you love about your child? Oh, I guess I like, you don't say that because people would look at you and go, really? Like you have to think about what it is that you like about your kid, what you love about your kid. It's so second nature, or your spouse. Oh, I love this about them, or I love that about them. But so why would we hesitate for our own selves? Think about if somebody hesitated saying what they liked about you, like your significant other, you would feel hurt. But yet we don't feel hurt about not loving ourselves. So it should be second nature. You know what else I love about myself? I have such a really good sense of humor and I'm very quick-witted. And I can make people laugh very easily. Like I can take something very quickly and somebody says something and I can um, like just make it funny. And I like that. I love that about myself because it allows me to connect with people, especially even when I'm teaching, when I would take a hard subject and then say something funny, it would lighten the stress in the room. And then people would relax a little bit more. So that's something that I've always loved about myself. I love the fact that I don't have a problem meeting people. It's not always comfortable for me. It seems like I'm very outgoing. I can be, but I can also be very introverted. But I do love the fact that I can connect really well with people when I just meet them for the first time. And I'm very grateful for that too. It's not even just loving, it's I'm also very grateful to have that ability.
I love that. And
Let's
all
see.
of that, for anybody who's saying, but how can you get there? You do that by walking in your truth, by not lying who you are. And don't pretend to be somebody. Don't fake it till you make it. I hate that. Because sometimes we fake it so much we never make it. We just believe the
Yes,
lies.
that's right.
So walk your truth. Figure out what it is. Love yourself enough to figure out what are you lacking. We all lacking something. We're all addicted to something, whether it's sweets or whether it's salty foods, salty and crunchy foods. You know, my daughter, she vacuums and vacuums and then shampoos and vacuums. That's her addiction. She loves to just do that. And it's good the first 2 times, but after that, sit your ass down. But what I'm saying is be honest, because when somebody asks me, what is it you do? And we talked about this, I don't like it because I do many things. So I what's that word when you name yourself? The traveling magician, because everywhere I go, I can write, I can paint, and I can speak. One thing I've been thinking about is once I'm settled, I want to get back into public speaking. I love talking in front of big crowds. Why? Because I have boundaries, because I'm fearless, and I'm honest with myself, which within the midst of the chaos of who Margarita is, I am graceful. So learn what you are. Tell people who you are, but do it with such honesty that some might lower their nose at you and some might go up and some might smile. But it's not your business because you're walking in your truth. And who says that walking in your truth is going to make you popular? It's not, but it will make you happy and joyful because guess what? No matter where you walk, you're true to who you are. That's the only person you owe anything to is yourself.
I'm going to actually ask one other favor because we've been getting a really good response from everybody. So, for those of you that jumped on late, we're putting in there, good morning, Liza. We're putting in the comments what you love about yourself. I said to write one thing, but I'm thrilled that people are writing more. People are coming back and adding more. So, I want all of you to go back and go through all the comments that people are writing, what they love about themselves. I want you to love it. I want you to love it. I want to see hearts on all these things showing the support of that person because we've got some really great stuff. Like Gail says, I think I love the most about myself is that I'm vulnerable. And that's huge. A lot of people hate about themselves. Madeline, I love that I can get through difficult situations and find solutions and look for the angels around me to help during difficulties. I like Catherine Marie's funny. Catherine goes, I have a very sarcastic humor and mom hates it. I got it from her and my daughter has it too. And then she thought that was funny. So she says, love seeing new people. Let's see, Desiree. Here we go, Desiree. Good girl. I'm kind. I'm a fighter. I'm a good mom and grandma. I love that I have finally chosen to create a healthy boundaries around unhealthy people, even if that means I spend a lot of time alone and lonely until I find a healthier company. Listen, the loneliness will go away because when you are, we did talk about this at another show. When you fall in love with yourself, when you are so comfortable with who you are, you will never be lonely. You just won't because you know that if you're by yourself and you feel kind of like, well, I don't want to be by myself today, you just leave. You get in the car and you go somewhere and then you hang out and then maybe you'll meet people. Or you'll invite friends over or you'll talk on the phone to somebody or do a video chat with somebody. So that loneliness really does go away. And it's almost like when a person is living with depression and they get into that loop of, they isolate themselves and then they feel worse because they're isolated and they isolate even more. People have to understand that if they could just get past that little piece and just move into the fact of saying, you know what, I'm going to work on me. I'm isolating. I'm going to work on me and fall in love with myself. Think about the things that are really great about myself, but believe them. Because that's the problem is that we don't believe it. And then from there, they start to shift their energy and things will change. And that's the beauty of it, you know. And so, Desiree, you're on your way. You know, you're on your way. You're there. I mean, if that's the case, reach out to Yeditza and talk to Yeditza, because Yeditza's, you know, our welcome wagon. Yeditza welcomes everybody here. She's always like saying, "Hi, welcome so and so." Whenever she sees a new name come up, I see Jackie Brooks is on, and who else jumped on is Delilah Sanchez. God, I love that name. I wanted so badly to name my
Mm-mm.
youngest Delilah.
And
Love
you
that.
never, it's either hit or miss with you.
But
Um,
it's just,
you know
you
what?
know,
When you're lonely, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I
no,
thought
no,
you were
go
done.
ahead, go ahead. I'm gonna start typing
When
away.
you're lonely is when you don't know who you are. When you say, "Oh my God, I'm so lonely, I'm bored." If you learn who you are, you would learn all the great talents that come with you. You would learn loneliness. I think it's like we need to decide what emotion we want to associate to loneliness. Exactly, because who are you lonely for? Are you missing someone? Do you desire somebody's company? Lots of sex. Does Liza shut your face?
That had to be Liza. I didn't even look
Um,
up, but I knew
it's,
it was.
you know, and like I said, you know, I'm confident and I'm decisive, and I've always held boundaries like a motherfucker in my life from a very young age. And I say this full of passion, and I say this so to let you know that when I'm such a passionate person that people think I'm yelling or arguing with them, or but I just feel this thing inside of me, because when I hear people say I'm bored, figure it out. There's no reason for anybody to say they're bored. That's lacking of knowledge of who you are. That's saying, okay, why am I bored? Do I need company? Do I need somebody next to me so that I can feel like I exist or that I matter? Those are exactly, Diana. You have to figure it out, and only you can do so. And she says it's a process, but let me tell you, exactly, Catherine. That's why this thing with this love affair, the name of this show with the love affair, is knowing who you are. The hardest part in anything you're gonna do for yourself is introducing yourself to your true self, without the facades, without the lies, without pretension. When you let go of all of that, you're only left with your true essence, and in that essence is when you discover who you are. Hi, baby. So
Look what Jackie wrote. Jackie
to
wrote,
say
"When
you're
I'm
bored.
bored," she says, "when I'm bored, I go to karaoke and sing my heart out. I've learned to do things alone, even traveling." Nice, Jackie.
That's the
There,
best thing,
that's great.
Jackie.
I do that. I do karaoke in my house because the acoustics are really good. But that's what I do when I'm bored. I sing, and I have a great time by myself. And
And you
it's
sing very well.
oh, thanks.
And even if you don't, I dance all the time. But let me tell you, traveling, and that's why I say about my confidence. And when I was 16, I lived in LA by myself for 6 months. And coming back home was the first flight I ever took. And of course, it had to be with all the hour differences and everything. And then ever since that, I love my company, even when I'm not in a good mood. At the end of the day, I am all I have to fall back on. People can compliment what I do. People can assist in what I do, but nobody can do for me what I can do for me. And that is self love. And that is getting to know who you are. And that when you stop expecting people to show up for you, that's when you have nothing but to unveil the spirit of who you are. And that's loving yourself enough to know that you got a lot of shit to fix, that you have to go through some uncomfortable situations to get to the heart of what it is that has been keeping you from yourself. And when you look at that person in the mirror, that reflection in the mirror, it's always going to be you. You've put up with enough excuses in your life to avoid the true you. And when you can do that, then the love affair begins, and it'll be a forever love affair till death do you part. And you're going to accept the good, the bad, and the ugly of who you are, because it always turns into beauty of knowing who you are, of standing for your truth and accepting who you are and those around you. Come here, Savannah. So you never know how good it feels until you try it. I'm also social butterfly, so I'm daring. I love this forum for us. Thank you. Yes. I
Well,
love dancing and singing.
look at my sister, because who was it that Jackie said traveling alone? My sister's doing it, you know. In fact, I think my sister probably is having more fun traveling by herself than when she travels with people. Because this is the
Yeah.
interesting thing, is a lot of times you find that it's fun to it's a different experience, and I don't want to say it's better or worse. It's just a different experience. When you travel by yourself, you you get to do everything that you want to do. You don't hold back.
When and how?
And then if you are like, you could sit there and say, well, what if I get lonely? What if you'll meet people? Inevitably, you will always meet people, because that's just the way it is, especially when you go somewhere. People are always curious. It's very interesting. People are always curious. Oh, are you traveling through? Are you, where are you from? And especially if you go to a foreign country. My sister's been texting me going, it's funny because people think I'm from here. They're asking me for directions, and I'm
Oh yeah.
laughing. I think that's so funny, and it's so cool. And especially women. Women have this built-in fear of traveling by themselves because they're like worried. I got to tell you, we had a guest on a couple of times, Nicole. Oh my gosh, what was Nicole's last name? Isn't that terrible? It'll come to me. She's fantastic. She's a solo traveler. She teaches it. She teaches self-defense for women. She does online courses.
Snell.
Thank you, Nicole Snell. I'm terrible at it because I'm friends with her, and I can't believe I forgot her last name. But Nicole is awesome, and I suggest that you check her out. We suggest that you check her out, because if you're nervous about that, reach out to her and just read her newsletters, get on her newsletters and watch some of her free videos. But the bottom line is, it's not travel is like it's like, if you could do things by yourself, you have hit a main area in your life that can shift everything for you. So let's do this. Let's say, okay, with all the stuff that you've been listing on there about yourselves, right? And I'm hoping everybody is putting hearts on everything that everybody has written there, but I haven't had a chance yet from our side. But so today's Thursday. Between today and Sunday, pick at least one thing that you are going to do by yourself. I'm not saying go to work or, whatever. I'm saying go food shopping, go shopping in general, whatever. I'm saying stuff that you tend not to do by yourself. If it's been a while since you've gone out to dinner by yourself, then go out to dinner or go out to lunch. But dinner's even more like, because that tends to be groups, that tends to be couples. Take yourself out to dinner. Take yourself out to a movie. Go by yourself to the movie. Pick the one that you want to go, that nobody else wants to go to, and that's the movie that you want to go see. Go to the library and sit down and read a book, or go to Barnes and Noble, grab a coffee and sit down with a book and read. But go somewhere, do something. Go walk on the beach if the weather is appropriate, or go walk by the lake by yourself. Go on a hike. Go, anything. Go roller skating. Anything that usually you ask somebody else to go with you, go by yourself and see what happens. And just be in the moment. Be very, very mindful of yourself.
Yep. And turn your phone off. That's the only way you're going to be in your moment and mindful and enjoying your you time. Turn your phone off. Leave it in the car. I've been doing that lately. Everybody's like, you need to keep your phone charged. I don't need to do shit. I'm ready to disconnect for a whole week on my phone just to see. Because you know what? We walk around with this device as though it's more important than us.
Yeah.
Oh, but what if so-and-so calls? Well, then so-and-so has to wait.
Right.
If it's a 911, you're going to hear about it.
What did we do years ago? Remember?
Now, years ago, it was our childhood, and so much has changed. And the thing is that everybody walks with this, and sometimes when I catch myself, I'm like, ugh, and I throw it down. And we have to disconnect in order to connect. We cannot connect with ourselves. We cannot reconnect with ourselves when we're holding something that lowers our frequency, that makes us vibrate low, that makes us with anxiety. Oh my God, did I miss a call? I can't. That fills us with anxiety. Okay, it's constantly having us on guard, looking out for who did we miss a call or a text from? Where are you in that line of importance? Obviously, you're not because you keep checking to see who called you, who texted you, who posted on your fucking social media.
Yes.
When you can disconnect from this, at least from a whole day, then you're starting your journey inward. Because before we can learn anything, attach to anything, we must inquire within. And if
Yes.
we're not willing to do that, then keep your phone on your hip. Patch it or Velcro it to your palm. Because then that means you don't care who you are. And then when somebody insults you, you want to get all butt wounded and into this woe is me type of thing. But who are you to you? That's the real question. Where on the scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the most important, do you factor in? Where do you see yourself on that scale? And don't lie. I'm so tired of people talking to me and then saying lies like I can't read right through you or I can't hear how your voice is cracking within the lie. Be honest.
Yes.
Okay, you're not here for a popularity contest. Who gives a shit who likes you? You gotta love you. It don't matter if your sister, brother, sister-in-law, your cousin's husband's mother likes you. It doesn't matter.
Long list.
You know, when you post on social media, you hardly nobody will like what you post. 5 6 likes. But then you got nosy people in your stories. Sometimes I do that just to do the test. Let me see how many people are nosy today. But sometimes people are not even looking at your story. They're just looking at stories. So stop with this woe is me. Nobody likes my post, but they're all up in. Nobody cares that much about you. If you don't care that much about you, you got to worry about how many likes you get on something. Who no? And you're gonna think other people care that much about you? No, mamita. Love yourself and show the world how important you are to be a part of this universe. Like they said, build it, they will come. You don't need nobody there right now. You're still under construction.
Hmm.
Stop giving your energy and your attention everywhere except yourself. That's how you begin your love affair with yourself. And you're going to not like it. You're not going to like it. You're going to say, oh my God, I lived a false life. Oh my God, I pretended to be this. You're going to look at your closet and says, why do I own this? I don't even like it, but you bought it because it was in and you wanted to be in the in circle because so-and-so wore it. So you wanted to see about that. No, you're gonna find a lot of things you don't like about yourself. And that's the reason why a lot of people don't turn into themselves to figure the fuck out who they are. Because it's too embarrassing even for themselves. Face it. Get embarrassed. Be like, ugh, because guess what? You'll never do it again. And you're gonna walk in your truth from here on out. And if you can do that, then you're
You know what?
brave. If you can do that, you're courageous. It's being vulnerable. Oh my God, I've lied to myself all this time. I can't believe I wore this because so and so wore it. Or when I met them, that's what they were wearing. I wanted them to like me. You know what? If it happened, admit it to yourself. And then forgive yourself, like Gail says. Because how do you expect anybody to ask you for forgiveness for something they wounded you with when you don't even know if it was your own wound and they just stirred it up a bit for you to notice you had some healing to do? But because you've been lying to yourself so much, you accuse them of creating that wound. And now you're mad and they better apologize. Figure it out. Figure it out. Even if you got to do one at a time, figure it out. Because the root of all your issues is yourself, mamita.
Hmm.
And when you remove yourself to figure it out, then you're going to see who was who in your life and you're going to know where to place them, the nosebleed section or the VIP section. Some deserve to be double arms length away, but you can't figure that out until you figure out who you are.
You know, the irony is we have the longest relationship we have in our lives is with ourselves. We're with ourselves from the moment we're conceived, created, to the moment we take our last breath. And to be honest with you, beyond that, for those that believe in the afterworld. So
Then you get reincarnated and go through the same bullshit till you figure it out.
so the interesting thing is we put so much stock into creating relationships with other people and not creating relationships with ourselves. And I went to a seminar last in February for my continuing ed. And I loved the seminar. I loved the guy that was speaking, but he said something that I didn't fully agree with. And he was talking about how we've become such a, it's like we center on ourselves. Hi, Mama.
Good
Hi.
morning.
Good morning. So cute. He said that we center on ourselves and we have to stop doing that. We have to think about other people. I understand what he was trying to say. We become a very self-centered, entitled society, but that's why we talked about on our show self-centered versus centered self. You have got to fall in love with yourself, but you also have to know that you are part of this big world, that you contribute. So you either are going to contribute something wonderful or you're going to contribute something crappy. So you're going to decide, like, I love myself and I'm going to put out good energy because I want to. I want to be that person. And I'm going to connect with other people because I am a part of this world, as are those people. And to know that I don't get my way all the time because it's not always about me. What it is that I get to say, hey, you know what? Yep, that'll work for me. No, that won't. Yes, I'm willing to compromise. No, I'm not. Yes, I'm willing to tolerate that. No, I'm not. But there's more compromising and tolerating than when you are centered self. You know who you are, and you know that there's a lot of gray area. You're very familiar with that, and you're willing, but you're not going to change who you are. You're just willing to go with that flow. Whereas centered self, self-centered is, I know who I am, and no matter what, I'm not doing that, and it's not going that way. And that's
Yep,
why,
that's me sometimes because I know who I am.
but it is, but it's not. Like, I know it is. I know what you're saying, but I know you enough to know that it's true, but that it's not the constant. Like, we live in a society that is very me. It's very entitled. It's got to be my way, no other way. It's very rigid. I know you. That's not how you are. You're very strong about certain things about yourself, and that's beautiful. But
Mm-hmm.
you are definitely a person that can compromise when necessary, but you also will put your boundary up and say, I'm not going to compromise because what you're asking is not okay. And that's the beauty of it. See, that's the difference.
But
It's
the beauty is what I was trying to do when I said that's me is that there's a lot of people who call themselves experts that want to put titles to everything. With my new granddaughter, you have doctors who are saying, feed the baby, burp the baby, lay them down, let them cry, let them self-soothe. And then you have other doctors saying, mama, you can feed the baby, birth the baby, change the baby, and hold the baby for as long as you want. So I think when you have this love affair that you learn who you are, then you know what works for you. Because people have called me selfish because I do what I want, when I want, and how I want it, because it is what I need to do for me.
right.
So because they're not included or they can't tag along or I just don't even tell them, then I'm selfish and self-centered. So that's why I wanted to bring that up because you can listen to what people are saying from this side of the spectrum to this one and then figure out what works for you. And all these labels going on, don't pay attention to them because when you do for you, you're automatically selfish. Oh, how could she do that? She knows this and so got to take care of this. And then because we're supposed to be caregivers to everybody, and then we're viewed as the strong person, so they don't worry about you because, oh, she's strong, she can handle it. But that's just their way of saying, fuck it, I already got what I needed. So who's selfish? So there's so many
Yeah.
labels going on. The
Yes.
only thing that we talked about today that I think everybody should just wake the fuck up to is fall in love with yourself. Fall in love with the person you are right now, not who you used to be, not me with my beautiful black silky long hair. Okay? I made the choice to shave my head. So here we are dealing with the regrowth. I'm not happy, mi gente. I'm really not with the choices that I made. So then, or not the person you envision yourself to be in a tomorrow, not too far away, but still in a tomorrow that's not here yet. Fall in love with the person you just woke up to this morning. Look at her. Okay? She might not be very pretty because you just woke up. And we're so critical on ourselves. That's why I mentioned the hair. We are so critical. I was so critical on myself yesterday that Iris looked at me. I said, when I was on the camino, I complained of looking like a hobo. And here I am dressing like one. And then I have to realize every day I'm going to the studio. It's dusty. We get dirty. We sweat even though we don't realize. So why am I so fixated these last couple days on my appearance? And it's because I know I've gained weight. But
Yeah, that
this
makes
morning, this conversation that we chose to talk about a week or 2 or 3 ago woke something up in me that why am I doing this? That's not even who I am. But why am I allowing this? Because then it makes me want to rush into something or not do something. Or how about whenever you say you're going to go on a diet, you want to really eat that cheeseburger? It's like that devil's a liar type of deal. So fall in love with yourself today. I know that I needed this conversation today, just in little parts of my life, and especially the one that I'm dealing with now because of my discomfort. Okay, so I'm waiting for these sneakers, and then the walk is on. I don't have walking sneakers. That's why I haven't walked. But the eating starts, the healthy eating starts as I wait for the sneakers. Because chirotin really works, especially when you want to shed those first 10 pounds off immediately. And it's healthy and it makes you feel good. And if you want to find out about it, contact Dr. Lori Monaco. That's not an advertisement, it's real. So
I wrote,
God
thank you.
fall in love with who I woke up to as today. Exactly. You are hobo Leon. Leon's a traveler. When I did my Camino Santiago, the first time I traveled it alone, I met these two guys that we ate breakfast with together. We planned where we were meeting every evening. We had dinner together, said goodnight, woke up, had coffee, said see you later. But the walk was always on my own. And I met these men at the Madrid airport, and we were all doing the Camino. So you meet fantastic people, you meet miserable people, you meet sages. You're walking next to somebody who looks like a hobo, and they're like if
Yes,
you're walking with Socrates or Rumi, because they just speak like they're dancing. And then you got some that
that's
complain.
important. Listen, I have to interrupt you
Yeah,
on this. That's important because that's even was in The Alchemist. We cannot take for granted what we believe people are supposed to be. Now you're
exactly.
not going to go in there dumb, like with complete, blinders. Oh, I'm just going to accept everybody, and then somebody's just going to rob you. But like in The Alchemist, if that had to happen because he had to understand all of this, we don't want you to get robbed, preferably, but it's just don't think that these somebody doesn't have something to offer that's insightful. Could be the one thing that shifts your life. Could come from somebody that has nothing because they're the ones that just said something that was so key for you specifically in your life.
Yeah, it is. Just be kind, because when you're kind, you feel good about yourself. And that's called self love. You don't have to receive kind words back. See, stop having expectations and assumptions. Just be who you are. And that person won't pay you back, but up over yonder, you're gonna meet a group of people that's just gonna like plug you into so much vibration, you're not gonna know what to do with yourself. So that's right, Leanne. Never judge a book by its cover. Be kind to everyone you meet. They're not gonna be all kind to you because you don't know where they're at. You don't know what they just lost somebody or lost a job or were left. Somebody broke up with them through a text. You don't know what's going on with that person. So if you say something kind, or let's just before we leave with the holding the door, I do this on my workshops. I hold the door open. I ask people in the workshop, how many people here, when you hold the door open for somebody, expect them to say thank you? And every arm goes up. And I said, why? Well, I held the door open. And I said, but did they ask you to? No, but I held it open. Then you offered that assistance. You
Yes.
offered to give them an open door, which it's so, this open door leads to many things in your life. So when next time you walking through a door and you know somebody's coming in or coming out behind you, and you choose to hold that door open, be graceful. If they don't say thank you, so what? And if they do, it's a gift. because you chose. Nobody
Yeah,
asked you to hold the door open. So
choose to hold
nobody
the
is
door.
accountable.
Choose to hold the door because you want to. It's bringing you joy to hold the door open for somebody, not for the expectation. It's just to say, I want to be able to hold that door, and I don't care if they say nothing. I want to hold the door open.
Hello, Maria. Yeah, but a lot of people, look at Jackie. She said me. When everyone in this workshop, different age stages, groups, different cultures, they all said the same thing. Well, we held it open. You know how many people I know have held doors open? They're like, you could have said thank you. And I look at them like I want to punch them in the throat. Nobody asked you
Yep.
to hold the fucking door open. Oh, but I held it open. You chose it. And when you learn to be graceful, and then whether you decide in the future after hearing this that you no longer want to hold the door open, then you put yourself in on a list, and you're gonna have to either love that you're like that or work on being graceful. Because remember, for everything you desire for your children, your grandchildren, and yourself depends on what you give to other grandchildren, grandparents, and other people your age. You get what you give. So if you feel that being rude to somebody because you chose to hold the door open and they didn't say thank you, and now you're like, ugh, people are dying today because you don't say thank you for holding the door open. But I'm saying this across, I'm just saying this across the field. I'm using the door as an analogy. But remember, the expectations and assumptions, leave them in your top dresser drawer before you leave the house. Because you're not perfect and you are going to disappoint people's expectations and assumptions of you. So stop judging others and work on what you need to work on yourself. And then the road will be laced with gold. All the daisies will be giggling as you're walking down the road. Why? Because you're getting what you're giving, and you're giving what you want to receive
I
because
want to
you
just make a
love.
note.
Mhm.
Jackie, understand something. You're not bad. She says she'll get better. Well, I'm sure you
Get
will. It's
better, girl,
sometimes
because you know how it is.
it's an awareness. It's you. Sometimes people are so it's so ingrained in them to be that way, and then there's that expectation. It's like, why do you need to have the thank you? That's the question. Is ask yourself when you feel that coming on, when you do that and you open the door and they don't say it, you get annoyed, or when you wave somebody in to like to a space or like to cut in front of you and they don't wave back and you get, oh, they didn't wave back, they didn't say thank you. Ask yourself, why do I do that? Do I need to hear that thank you from them? Why is that it's so important for me to hear that thank you?
Because you want acknowledgement.
But right, but why do you have to have that acknowledgement? That's the question.
Because for many reasons, you're
And
lacking
then
something inside.
right, well, that's I know. I'm saying that I want them to ask us what it is they feel that they're lacking. But
And my
anyway,
thing to you would be, don't be an attention seeking whore anymore. Don't do that. Because you need to figure out, sometimes there's not nothing lacking. It's just an expectation, Laura. I would like see people like beep your horn. I'm like, why? And they call me like, oh, you're come. I don't need to beat my horn at somebody.
no,
What rush am I in to get
it takes a
anywhere?
lot for me to beat my horn.
And if I text you in, you're busy trying to get into whatever, it might be a tight curve to get in. I'm letting you in. How are you going to be doing all this? If once you get in line, I've seen people do this through their rearview mirror, but because they didn't do it as they're going, we don't focus that they're waving. So
Yeah.
in the rearview mirror, you can see it. Pay attention. Or not, or just let somebody in and call it a day. Be kind. It doesn't cost you a thing. And it's a millisecond of your life that you're letting somebody cut in front of you. And now you want them to pay you $1 million for it and thank yous and waves and bow down. No, be kind. Kindness is free. And when you are kind to people, you are non-expectant of anything in return.
And with that, we want to thank everybody for coming
Yes,
on
Gail.
today. We want to thank everybody for coming on today. And we want to tell you about next week. So next week is the last week of March. March is our becoming month. So show is called The Matrimony, and it's knowing that without you, there is no bond, no family, no adhesive, no nada. That you marry yourself and you create a very strong bond within yourself because you not only help yourself, but you help everybody in your own little world. And then on Thursday, the independent as fuck. That's what the name of the show is, Independent as Fuck. Being aware that you are solely and completely an individual first. And we want you to end the month of March with understanding who it is that you absolutely want to become. And it's going to translate into the rest of the year. So what your homework is for this between now and even the next show, your homework is to do something by yourself. Go to a spa, go take yourself out to dinner, go for a walk on the beach, go for a hike, go whatever. Go sit and read a book somewhere in public, something that you don't normally do by yourself. Like if you go food shopping or clothes shopping by yourself, do something different. That's what we're asking you to do. By yourself, and like Gladiator Guru said, put the phone away. Look around, enjoy who you're looking at, enjoy the atmosphere of the place. If you're going to eat, enjoy the food that's there.
Just be truthful with yourself. Say, I'm scared. This makes me uncomfortable. And even if you feel you're going to get anxiety, remember, anxiety is nothing more than fear of your fear. So just go. Once you put that foot in there and you're there, the fear dissipates. That's how you take your power back.
Yes.
And Anit says we are imperfect and we live in an imperfect world, so we should always be empathetic towards others. Yes, Enid, absolutely. Gail says I no longer need validation from me or anyone else. I therefore no longer bitch. I just am. Absolutely. Jackie Brooks, girl, what you talking about? What are you talking about? And so, yes, Catherine, Madeline, Kathy, Desiree, thank you all for staying on longer today. I got to go because now I have grandma duty. And hello. And so, thank you. This was phenomenal. I've learned. I'm taking some of today's conversations to heart and putting them into practice. Me, the gladiator guru. So, let's do this. Hello, Warnett. Okay.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for being here from the Badass Buddha. Remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And mi gente, remember, anytime during your day, breathe in your beauty and breathe out their bullshit. Namaste.